stuff. So can you describe kind of how you envision how mermaids survive in the
Yeah.
Arctic?
So I mean, the first thing I kind of thought when once I had decided that I wanted to set this in the Arctic and I wanted to have like a kind of a Norse retelling,
Mhm.
I just, I thought of like Ariel and like the kind of the typical image that people tend to have when they think of a mermaid, and I was like, there's no way that they could survive in that climate,
Yeah.
because we tend to think of mermaids as like very beautiful slim women up
Yeah.
top, like very like having a fully human skin on the top, and then kind of a fins on the bottom.
Mhm.
And the first thing I thought of when I thought of sea creatures, I was like, they have to be fatter, was kind of my first
Totally.
thing.
Yeah, like sea
Because I was
otter.
like, there's no way that like if they have no body fat that they're ever going to be able to survive in that climate. So all of my mermaids have a lot more body fat. That's talked about in the book. They also have a lot more scale covering, so their scales sort of like extend most of the way up their torso, um, so that it acts as kind of like an extra layer of insulation. And then sort of like kind of playing on from that, I wanted to give them a method of like of generating and retaining heat. So one of the things that's talked about in the book is how they kind of use their scales almost in kind of like a photosynthesis type process,
Yeah.
where they can climb on the ice and then they can like absorb heat through their scales, and then it helps them generate energy inside their bodies. So that was, I think it was mostly me just like thinking of all the problems that living in that kind of environment would present, and then trying to find solutions to the characters. They have gills, so they have like little gill flaps. Ursula mentions that like underneath their tail scales, like rather than having like two open kind of wounds, which is what she describes with another character in the book. The mage has like kind of gill wounds. They have just like little individual gill flaps underneath their scales, and I thought that because one of the things that I watched this video, and it's a really morbid video of a dolphin killing a shark. It's a super
Oh,
morbid
wow.
and
Okay.
I was like, I wonder, like, I wanted to give them almost a kind of, as soon as I watched it, I was like, okay, so gills make them vulnerable, because in the video, the dolphin like covers the shark's gills, and that's how it dies. So I was like, okay, that kind of a gill structure makes them vulnerable because their breathing apparatus is actually like on the surface of their body. So I was like, no, my mermaids, theirs will be concealed so that they're less vulnerable
Yeah.
underwater. So yeah, I think it was a fun thing to play with, just like kind of thinking about all the things that they would need to survive and thrive as well, because they have an underwater society. They're apex predators in their environment. I just thought, what would they need in order for that to be true? Um,
Yeah. I think that's so